welcome back to another episode of Say What Needs to Be Said. Of course, I'm your host, Asante, Mr. Pick Six Samuel. As you can see, we're in new territory, uncharted territories, new situations. You understand? Don't pick on my background, but it's lively and we looking very demure back here. How we pronounce it? Demure, looking very demure. You know what I mean? But it's Mr. Pick Six, Asante Samuel, two-time Super Bowl champion, Pro Bowler, all-pro record-breaking cornerback, and 50 interceptions in 10 seasons. Let's bring on my co-host, 2-3 Drees in the building.
What's up, baby? What's up?
Hey, I hope y'all like what y'all see in the background, man. I'm just vibing. As y'all can see, we got to handle business. You got to be able to take care of business where you at in this life. Make sure y'all can hear me good. Hit them 22s in the chat. Melrose in the building. Bang, you hear me good? I ain't got no mic with me, so it's a little different. So y'all let me know y'all hear me good so we can vibe on out on this Thursday night. Thursday night vibes. What up, Drees? How you doing tonight, baby?
What's up, man? I heard you say, man, you ready to more today. You ready to mirror.
Very demure. Demure, clean. We don't discriminate, man. But, we Florida boys. We love bright colors. We love the sunshine. We lively out here.
It's a sunshine state. It's a sunshine state.
Black and white, feeling dead and stuff like that. No, we want to be lively. You understand what I'm saying? But tonight, we're going to talk about Deontay Johnson. I don't know if y'all seen about Deontay Johnson, the player, and what he's experienced playing in the NFL. And we're going to get into some Russell Wilson. What does he have going on? And then the competition in Indianapolis. The Colts, Anthony Richardson versus Daniel Jones. Who will win that battle? And is it over for Anthony Richardson? We will see. You understand what I'm saying? But Deontay Johnson, man, let's get into this thing, man. First off, Deontay Johnson. Man, it's like it's a new wave of players entering the NFL. And I think the difference may be like these new wave of players, Drees, may be a little more woke than us older players. Us older players, we was worried about being tough. And it was like our bodies, we'll worry about that later. We hear the old stories about the Jim Browns and players like that was much older than us, but we didn't worry about our bodies. We was taught to be tough. And now you pay for it. But Deontay Johnson, he refused to enter a game because, if y'all haven't heard, I'm not going to even say it was cold. He refused to enter the game because it was 41 degrees. Now, me, myself, Florida boy. We all are Florida boys. Deontay Johnson himself. I'm a Florida boy myself. 41 degrees, I can't even lie. I can't even say that's cold. I've been through worse situations, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's that. New England is cold. That's why.
New England, everywhere is cold. Yeah, of course. So 41 degrees is a regular day for us in New England, But before we jump the gun, or jump to conclusions, he may have somewhat of a point by the way he's thinking, or if we're thinking logically. You understand what I'm saying? And let's get into this. Let's check this out. We have Deontay Johnson, the former Baltimore Raven, played for the Carolina Panthers, played for a few teams. And this is what he had to say. He says, end of the third, going into the fourth, they were like, Tay, we need you, Johnson said. Johnson was like, I was like, nah, I don't think it's a good idea for me. Like, my legs are already ice cold, and I don't want to go out there and put stuff on film. That's basically saying put bad stuff on film. Now, you were an ex-football player. You didn't make it to the NFL. But I want to see and everybody in the comments in the chat, bang, y'all let me know how y'all feel. What do you feel about an NFL player opting not to go into the game when he's called upon and his brothers and everybody else is depending on him? Like he said, he was cold, his legs was freezing, and he probably didn't want to go out there and put out bad film. How do you feel about that?
Man, I feel like that's selfish. You saying you want to put out a bad film for yourself, man. You gotta stay ready, so you don't gotta get ready, man. You on the sideline, you never could get called at any second of the game. You never know when your teammates might go down. They might have to call your number, even if they haven't called you all day long. Somebody could have got hurt, and they would have had to call your number. So you got to stay ready. So you don't got to get ready, man, and go out there and produce and do what you got to do. So I feel like that's just an excuse that he probably was upset he didn't get in the whole time. He expected to get in. They probably told him during the week, like, yo, listen, we got this for you, this for you. That didn't happen. So he came like, man, I'm not getting in there. Like,
right.
It's about to be the fourth quarter.
Yeah, you're making some very good points about what you're saying. During the week, preparation for the game and things like that, things probably wasn't going his way, and he didn't feel so excited about the game. And I see y'all in the chat saying he's a Florida boy. Yes, Deontay Johnson is a Florida boy. Yes, you know us Florida boys. We can't stand cold weather. Even myself, it don't matter where you at in Florida. You could be in Tampa, you could be in North Florida, you could be in South Florida. We don't like the cold weather, and plus we're just built a little different. We act different, we think different, and we see the world differently. That may be good at sometimes, and other times may not be so good. But Deontay Johnson, he decided not to go into the game because it was 41 degrees. Now, if it was like 5 degrees or negative 13 degrees, I probably would feel him a little bit, being that I had to deal with those situations. And I left a game. We're going to get into some stories. And I had to leave and leave a game because I had frostbite in my fingertips. I had to practice with big, snow skiing gloves. They were so big, it was crazy. You know what I mean? But I think in general, people think about, they don't think about what may happen next when you define authority or you're doing something against the authorities' wishes, right? Like Deontay Johnson did. Authorities, the coaches asked him to come get into the game. And he said no, despite what may have happened during the week and things like that. But we're not thinking, we don't never have foresight. We always have great hindsight. Hindsight is 20/20, but you have to think about these things when you're in that situation. What may happen next, And I wonder, did he expect that? Did Deontay Johnson expect, as a player on the team, after refusing to enter the game, for everything just to be normal? Did he expect to go back on this team and just have a normal ride on the team and everybody accept him the same and look at him the same? No, you're going to be looked at differently. You're going to be chastised. And as you can see, he didn't last that much longer. He was released, I think, the next week. And the coaches and everyone else put out there that he was a distraction to the team, which is pretty much the truth. You're not coming into the team. You decide not to come into the game. You understand? That is going to have all your teammates, players, the trainers, the coaches, everyone looking at you weird. And yes, that is a distraction. And, as we can see, he's having, issues in his career, bouncing around from team to team right now. And that's the circumstances he created for himself.
Yeah, that's the downside, man. Because when it comes down to, like, if I'm gonna pick up this player or this player, you look at the history, like, man, he don't show up when it's time to show up. So why would I pick up this guy? You know what I mean? So that's gonna hurt you. He's not a coachable player. He's not gonna buy into the system. Like, why would I pick up this guy? So
like you're saying. So like you're saying, it's 32 teams out there, and you have to understand, when you take the field, when you're on a team, all 32 teams have information on you. And so this is basically like Deontay Johnson, telling all the other 32 teams he won't play in the cold weather. He isn't thinking about that, right? If you decide you're not going to go into the game, you're not going to play because you're injured, whatever the reason may be, there's going to be other teams that is going to inquire about you, that may want to pick you up and put you on their team. But now they hear all this negativity, and a situation like this, yes, he got picked up after that, but now he can probably just be a camp body. And when he had a lot of potential to be a starting wide receiver in the National Football League, I think he was drafted to the Carolina Panthers. Now, on the other hand, all right, like I say, I like to play devil's advocate and everything, right? On the other hand, if he didn't feel that confident in himself to be able to perform at a high level, or maybe he going into the game risking injury, does that give Johnson an excuse to decide not to go into the game? Right? Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the chat. You let me know what you think, Dries, right? If you don't feel confident in yourself that if I enter into this game, right, I may potentially injure myself, or my film may look so horrible that no one will want to sign me after this because I know how I feel and I'm not confident in myself. I'm going to go out here and not be worth a damn.
Hey,
Is that an excuse?
If he said injury, like if he was like, man, I don't know, my legs were stiff, my hamstring felt a little tight, I don't know if I want to go in there, you could be like, oh, you could probably like relate a little bit. Okay, man, you ain't want to go get hurt, you felt it. But then he said like, I didn't want to put out bad film. So I'm thinking like, if you went more the injury way, it'd be more acceptable than just saying like putting out bad film. Honestly, that's my opinion right there.
Yeah, regardless of if it's a potential injury, you not feeling confident in yourself, like we talked about, and they're saying in the stats, I mean in the chat, that that hurt the Baltimore Ravens during the playoffs, right? And you have your teammates and everybody depending on you. So however you feel, you're not confident in yourself, you may be injured. The answer is no. It's completely no. It's no. It is the player's responsibility to be prepared at any time and ready to enter a game and perform at a high level when your brothers need you. It's his job. This is the NFL, so we don't say a job, but this is your job. Your job is to come here and perform regardless of what the situations may be. You have to learn how to deal with adversity, overcome whatever feelings, family, whatever is going on in your life. All that needs to be put to the side because football and your job is number one. And he failed his team in this situation. And as you can see, you can't do that as a player. They will talk about you bad, blackball you, and of course, that team will not trust you ever again, and you will be immediately released.
It's gonna come back up, and I feel like it's gonna come back up again later in this conversation.
Yeah.
not being able to trust your teammate.
Yeah,
especially a leader on your team.
And then what's so crazy about it is you're not even thinking. Like I say, we have our hindsight is great, but our foresight is terrible. That, bro, you went to the same division in a colder city. Now you're playing for the Cleveland Browns, and the weather may be colder than it was in Baltimore, right? So what sense did this make? You telling your teammates and your team that it's too cold out there for you to go play, just to end up in a colder city and have to deal with the same struggles and situations, Man. I got a story too. And it was like, I remember, this is starting to happen and becoming a trend. We see players not going into the games and talking about they're tired and sick and things like that and not playing and finishing out games. And I remember I had a teammate, and he was from the University of Virginia. And I think it was my second season in the NFL, right? And I'm practicing, I'm learning how this thing works in the NFL. I'm trying to make my way, all of us trying to make a way in the NFL and be successful. And this receiver, right? Tom Brady was out there zipping the ball. You know how it goes, zipping it left and right. You catch passes every day, probably about 50, 60 passes. So in them 50, 60 passes, you're going to mess up, right? So this guy, right, he split his hand in practice, right, trying to catch the ball. And he split his hand wide open. It was like right down the middle of his hand. It was a bad split. And then he went to tell the trainers. He went to see the trainers, and they taped it up. I think he might have had some stitches. He probably had stitches, and they taped it up. It was a very bad, deep gash in his hand, right? But they told him to get back in the game. They taped him up and told him to get back in the game. But homie was devastated. I mean, he wanted to cry. He couldn't believe that they was telling him he must go back into practice. No, I'm sorry, not the game. Go back to practice and continue to practice. And he was like a 5th round pick. He was so devastated and disappointed. The trainers told him to go back into practice. Guess what he did after that?
Went home.
He quit. Homie quit, and it was only like his rookie season. He walked right off the field, told everybody, all the rookies and things like that, man, I see y'all later, man. This ain't for me. I'm hanging this up. And he walked off the field. And me being from Lauderdale, me being a South Florida kid, I'm like, how can you just quit? What are you going to do now? What is your plan? Do you have a plan B? Because I didn't have a plan B at the time. My plan B is not really a plan, but I had a plan, and I'm like, what is he going to do next? And we had little conversations, I think, and he was accounting. He was pretty good in school like that. But to me back then, it was like, how could you possibly walk off this field and not pursue your dreams? Because I don't have another plan. And it was like, it was either this or, I don't know, be working landscaping or something, or trying to start a business in the streets, some foolishness, But yeah, man, that was I don't know, man. I don't know how they're gonna feel about Deontay Johnson. How do y'all feel about that? That is unacceptable. We've seen this on so many levels, from the little league to high school to college. People quit, and I was one of those people. I quit pretty much every team I played on because I didn't have the big brothers, uncles, and fathers in my life, father figures in my life to teach me that I wasn't supposed to quit, and quitting was basically like being a little.
Yeah. I honestly think it's more common today than it was before. Like today is like more acceptable, especially because like all these athletes getting the money up front. So it's like I think like if you think about like the NBA draft, like just recently happened with Ace Belly. Like Ace Belly turned down a lot of like workouts and all that stuff, trying to like basically choose on where he want to go. But then you had BJ who got drafted by the Sixers, where he came from the Bahamas. He didn't have electric for 7 years. So he's like so grateful for the opportunity. He's not missing a day. You know what I mean? So I feel like certain people that's getting these like NILs or like getting that money right away is like they feel like they can like choose or like make that decision that's not for the brothers, is more so for yourself. Like where we like and back in a different time where it was like, man, we a team, we gotta do this together. It's our blood, sweat, and tears. We trying to win, we trying to do this. More so, I feel like it's more individual
it's
nowadays
more
than it is
entitlement. Everybody is
like
entitled now. It's like, and then we're in the information era where social media and everyone can peek and see, and all the information is already available. So it makes you more entitled, and you feel like you have all this knowledge and power, and you can control your own destiny, and not realizing that if you defy this authority, your career will end shortly. But at the end of the day, it's all about entitlement. This young generation are so entitled, they feel like everything is owed to them, and that's how they walk around like, this is supposed to be given to me. You understand what I'm saying? I see y'all in the comments, man. The comments kind of agreeing with us. We'll get to the chat. Shout out to the chat. We get to the chat at the end of this live, man. We're gonna have a good time Thursday night. I see Kalito's way in the building. Ain't no manual sideline. Who's that sideline, Sarah? What they do?
Shout out to the chat, man. Shout out to the chat.
He was on the team for 2 weeks. Man, that's crazy.
He got on the night train.
Before you tell the coach and the team your code, I would think about my kids and the people that I'm responsible for and all the bills that I build. I mean, it's funny we're going to talk about bills because we got to get into this Russell Wilson. And Russell Wilson, man, let me tell y'all, I don't know, man. Are we witnessing the last days of Russell Wilson in the NFL as a starting quarterback? Because the team he plays on right now, they drafted a first-round player at the position. And that's a clear indication that the team is ready to fill a void at that position. And now, I don't know if y'all heard, but Russell Wilson wants to play until the age of 45. But I don't think that will be
9 more
possible
years
as a starting quarterback in the NFL.
That's 9 more years. I don't know about that, man. I don't know.
Russell Wilson wants to play till he's 45 years of age. And like I said, but I don't think this is possible for him to be a starting quarterback to the age of 45. Now, of course, Tom Brady started this new thing that he wants everybody to play till Tom Brady started this thing that he can play to 45 years old and win championships. Now, the standard is set. The trend is out there. Quarterbacks think they can obtain those same goals as Tom Brady. But that is Tom Brady. Now, with Russell Wilson, let's get back to Russell Wilson. Now, with Russell Wilson, if y'all didn't know or y'all haven't heard, NFL star Russell Wilson spends at least $1 million a year on his mind, body, and soul.
Jeez.
$1 million a year. And we're going to get into that, right? $1 million a year. Seattle Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson says he is determined to play football until he is in his mid-40s. Like Tom Brady. Like I just told y'all, Tom Brady is messing up for everybody. Everybody think they can be a Tom Brady. I played with Tom Brady. You can't be a Tom Brady. That play like till your 40s, and that he employs a full-time performance team as his high-tech toys and spends 7 figures a year on his health. Wilson told sports analyst Bill Simmons on his podcast on October 15th, this is some years ago, that a majority of his money he spends goes to his full-time performance team. The team consists of a trainer who travels everywhere with Wilson and his wife, and physical therapist, a mobile person who makes sure Wilson is moving the right way, and a massage therapist, and 2 chefs. Not 1 chef.
2
chefs.
Now, one for the vegetables, one for the meat.
Yeah. But you have to be able to read between the lines when people say these things and they want to play and they don't have another plan. Like myself, I didn't have another plan. And most NFL players, they say they want to play till the wheels fall off, right? So here's my theory, and this is my thought process when I'm thinking of a guy like Russell Wilson and he wants to play to the age of 45. And if we watch Russell Wilson, or we get to Russell Wilson continue to play, and he plays in a backup role as a backup, and he is satisfied being in that backup role, right? He go team to team playing as a backup, second string quarterback. That means those bills are pushing, I'm gonna say, at least $500K. How does that sound? $500K in bills a month? Is that ridiculous? What do you think, Dries?
For him, I mean, he got some big paychecks in his day, so
right.
That's not a surprise. Right. So he got some big paydays in his time.
Yeah, and I know it sounds ridiculous, and it might sound outrageous to a lot of people out there. $500,000 a month, that's $6 million a year. One thing about that, you cannot maintain that after football is over. Like you say, after all those football big checks are over with. Now, I can say that number is insane, right? But he plays quarterback. It hits a little different for offensive players plus a quarterback. Quarterbacks are the top of the line, the epitome of the NFL. So they're they get the most viewership. They're the most popular person on the team, and they're pretty much control of the team, whether you win or lose, right? So if we're adding this up, we're pocket watching a little bit, because if he wants to play until he's 45, I'm telling you, he has to continue to maintain that crazy lifestyle. And all us athletes are in these predicaments sooner or later once we retire. And, the ones that achieve those big contracts. Now, let's start with private jets or private travel, right? Quarterbacks can't be seen in regular airports. They will get harassed. They won't have no privacy if they walk through the airport by themselves, right? And especially Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, we know he's married to a famous R&B artist, which is Ciara. We all know about that. So for him, they both need private transportation, right? So if y'all don't understand or know about private planes and how much they cost, the average cost one way for a private plane trip is $25K. I ain't talking about going 1 hour away from your house. So $25K there, $25K back. That's $50K travel one way, right? So you save 4 times a month, 5 times a month, 200, 250 right there. Right off the rip, we starting off at $250,000 to $200,000. That's just in travel fare, right? Then then you can go to allowance, right? Ciara, she's definitely going to need some allowance, and it's going to be I'm sure it has to be a healthy allowance, but we're gonna be very we're gonna give Russell Wilson the benefit of the doubt in these situations, right? We're not gonna make the bills too extravagant, right? $500K, that's extravagant, but we're getting there. We're getting there. Now, Ciara, how much would he give Ciara in allowance? I want to hear from y'all. Y'all let me know what y'all guess is before I shout out my number. Like I say, we're being, what's the word I'm trying to use, right? We're being a little considerate here. I don't want to throw out no crazy numbers, but let me hear what y'all have to say in the chat. But I'm going to say he gives Ciara no less than $50K a month. And that's being very considerate, right? Because she's Ciara, she used to seeing money. She's been famous. She's been in private jets, so on and so forth. So she's definitely, and she has those kids with her. So, but we're going to be very moderate, and we're going to stay at $50K per month. So we got the private jets, then we got Ciara. Right now, the monthly bills is still crazy. Right now, just off those 2 expenses. Then you take the house maintenance, taxes, and insurance. That can easily run you another $50K per month, being that houses all over the world, and then these houses are extravagant. These are mansions, right? And then, so right now we're probably about at $350K. If my math is right, y'all let me know if I'm wrong. Then you got cars, right? You got car insurance. Car insurance, 10 grand a month. You know, all these nice.
Don't forget the $1 million he put into his body. Don't forget
that part. Oh yeah, that last. Being that I talked about that first, that right over my head, right? Then you got the car insurance. I'm sure that's $10K a month. They was trying to hit me for $3 grand a month for a little accident we had, and we had to get that all fixed up. $3 grand a month for car insurance. That was like 4 cars, or maybe 5. Please tell me, chat, y'all ain't dealing with these same situations, because that is ridiculous, you know. So $10K a month for the car insurance, cars. I'm sure you don't have no car notes. You have a nanny, got family members, and then you have your attire, your dress code. Gotta look like Russell Wilson. Gotta look like Ciara. I'm telling you, that's easy. $500K a month. Oh, like you said, we didn't add back in the $100K per month or $80K per month on his body. That's a significant amount of cash, and that's a significant number. But some of these numbers can, once you retire, some of these numbers aren't fixed numbers, and you can get rid of these bills, right? Me at my peak, what do you think my peak was? My bills, Dries. What do you think?
Jeez. Man, the young boy.
The young boy. Let me know, chat. What do y'all think my bills was at? What do y'all think? Yeah, let me give Sideline Sarah a shout out. She said, I can believe that. $500K. Yeah, it's easy, man. You don't even realize it. And then I'm not even adding in your management fees, your your agent fees, and so on and so forth. There's so many miscellaneous things that may come up, and you just have no clue. But Mr. Pick 6, in the prime of my career, what do you think my bills was, man? What do you think?
Over $100K a month.
Over $100K a month. Do y'all agree with him, chat? It's Lauderdale, Mr. Pick 6. Did I reach $100K a month? Let me see. At my peak, let me drink a sip of water, because I do not want to relive these days, boy. Wasn't quite at 100 now. 100K a month. That's still a lot. That's $1 million a year. But at my peak, man, I think I was about $80,000 per month in bills. $80,000. Well, of course, I didn't ride private planes or anything extravagant like that. But bills for athletes, man, can easily become a burden and hard to maintain, especially when you're in towards the end of your career. And once we're in retirement, of course, our income is cut drastically. And it's never the same. It's only a few that, they may get in the media and things like that and still able to maintain, but it's nowhere near what it used to be, right? And hopefully in these monthly bills, we have assets, things that we can sell to get our money back or make a profit. And the ones that don't have the assets and you just spending money on liabilities and things like that, those are the ones you see chasing and chasing and chasing. They want to continue to play like Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald, he decided to retire. Everybody's like, man, he still can play because he did well with his money. He invested in great assets. And I'm sure his bills is probably about 50, 60K, but that's manageable being that type of money that they make these days, So 80K a month, y'all thought it was 100K? No, I never got to 100K, but 80K a month. And then the hard part about it, like I say, a lot of these bills are fixed. You got your houses, you got your cars, and then you want to lower your bills. It's hard to get rid of these fixed bills or just these bills, period. It's hard to get rid of those bills when you're in retirement, man. There is no logical way to think to be able to handle that, but I don't know. It's just this part of athletes being in NFL, man. What do you think about that? Tell me, Dries, at the peak of your life, what was the most your bills was?
I just be spending. I don't make it. No, man, I'll be trying because right now, I'm out here trying to make it work. So I'm trying to make it work. You know what I mean? Do what I gotta do to make it work. And you talk about retired players. You just had Brandon Graham on the show. I mean, if y'all ain't go see that, make sure y'all check it out. And one of the people he partnered with was Cricket T, man.
How does it taste, man? How does it taste? Y'all don't know that Brandon Graham new drink he's coming out with, supported Cricket Tea. And Dries said,
shout out to Jack Weiss, man. Jack Weiss, one of the people behind it too, man. It got zero sugar, it's gluten-free, it's organic. So this is more the healthy side, man. One of the people y'all want to sip on this, only 4% alcohol by volume. I mean, it ain't that a beer that gets you all bloated and stuff like that. So it's good, man. But that's people is retired trying to find a different way, get into different lanes and stuff like that. So I respect that, man. I respect that.
Shout out to BG. Cheers. Shout out to BG. Post up to BG, So now that Russell Wilson wants to play to be 45, what is the problem? What is getting in his way? Because last year he started for Pittsburgh Steelers, and that season didn't go as well. He was up and down. He had some good moments in that season, but he's not who he used to be, and everybody completely sees that, right? So what is the issue? And it's Jackson Dart. Jackson Dart will be the starting quarterback for the New York Giants by week 7. Trust me, this is not a coincidence. They drafted
by week 7.
By week 7,
I think before.
Probably before. I'm just saying by week 7. It might be the first week of the season, but I'm just going to give Russell Wilson a little leeway. When they draft that quarterback in the first round, no matter if he's the 31st pick or the 5th pick, he is coming there to take over the starting role. That's just how that goes. And it's so, I know Russell Wilson is probably so confusing for him because he's used to being a man everywhere he went from Seattle to Denver to Pittsburgh to the New York Giants, and everywhere he was expected to be the starter and paid handsomely to be the starter. And now you're drafted to a team, then out of nowhere, they draft a quarterback in the first round. How does that make you feel? Do you still have that dog in you? Are you still ready to go out there and compete like this is your first year in the NFL? Do you still have that chip on the shoulder to show fans and the doubters and the critics that you can still play on a high level, right? And I don't see that in Russell Wilson. Leroy say 5K is my peak. I know that, right? Hey, boy, if I get 5K, boy, that'd be a lovely life for me, man. 5K a month. I don't even want to tell y'all, man, half the stuff I be going through, boy. But yeah, man. Them bills, man, they get crazy. You know what? We should do a survey, and everybody that I bring on the show next time, I'm gonna ask every athlete what were their bills at their peak, and I want to see did anyone ever reach $1 million a month. Wow, I'm sure
that's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
That's a lot of money.
You think about it, like you have $1 million going to your trainer, $1 million going to your agent. Man, it can add up. It can add up, man. But back to Russell Wilson, man. Yeah, man. This is basically his last season as a prominent quarterback in the NFL. These days are slowly dwindling away, like they all do for all of us. But the difference with him, he wants to be like a Tom Brady and play to the age of 45. And that's not going to happen. First of all, he lost that dog in him. And second of all, he should have stayed in Seattle with Pete Carroll if that was his goals. That was his ultimate reality. I mean, ultimate goals in life to play to the age of 45, But, on the other hand, there's been a few first rounders, quarterbacks, only a few who stayed in the backup role the entire year and ended up being a successful quarterback. And the coaches decided to leave them in the backup role. There's only been a few. So I don't expect that out of Jackson Dart. And Brian Daboll, he was my coach in New England with me. He's very good with structuring offenses, bringing the best out of quarterbacks and players on offense. And he knows what he's doing. He's very smart. And, he will make the offense as challenging as he will make the offense as much challenging as Jackson Dart can take. There we go. That's what I'm trying to say.
Man, you talk about one of the quarterbacks that stayed in that backup role for a year is one of the best ones right now, Patrick Mahomes. He didn't start his first year.
Patrick Mahomes and Aaron Rodgers. I don't think that was done on purpose with Patrick Mahomes, but it happened, and he is one of the best. I don't think him staying in the backup role had anything to do with contributing to him being the best. Aaron Rodgers was the other one. I think you need to get out there and get that experience.
I heard Patrick Mahomes say that him being a backup, he felt like it helped him because like he came in the NFL thinking he knew everything. He think he could lead a locker room of men, but him being in the background, he actually learned from Alex Smith how to actually lead men. Sometimes these kids coming straight out of college, they think they can go out there and just lead men, and that's where they probably got to play, but to be out there to lead a bunch of men with a bunch of flames, they ain't in college no more. You know what I mean? That'd be the big difference. And that what Mahomes said, that he was like kind of happy he didn't start his first year because he learned that from the background where he just walked around with a notebook, follow Alex Smith around and just wrote everything down. Like, how do he talk to these people in the locker room? How do he do this? How do he do that? And like he learned that before he learned the stuff on the field, and that feel like that put him on a different pedestal,
That's a good point because I'm thinking about all the physical attributes learning in a backup role. That is the most important attribute to have, and the most important thing you need to learn: how to lead men, how to command the team, how to make this huddle listen to you, believe in you when it's time to go to war. And you can have all the attributes. You can be a great athlete. You can throw the ball well, but if you can't gain that respect from your teammates and have that authority over them, what type of quarterback are you actually going to be? And like you say, that is a great point, being in the backup role. But, that's for the coaches to evaluate to see if that quarterback needs that mental, needs to wait another year mentally and learn how to be more of a leader and things like that. But, I don't really see it like that, man. I think it's time you throw him out there. But, hey, like you said, work for Patrick Mahomes. He's one of the best. And that's funny because Tom Brady is finally coming out in the mid. And a lot of people don't want to hear it. But Tom Brady said it himself. He thinks Patrick Mahomes is one of the players that can test him for his GOAT status. And I think it's rightfully so. How many Super Bowls does Patrick Mahomes have right now? He have about, I think he has 3 or 2.
Yeah, I know 3.
Y'all let me know, Chad. How many Super Bowls does Patrick Mahomes have so far?
He went to 5. He went to 5 already, and he got 3.
He lost 2, right?
Yeah, so he got 3.
He probably lost 3, but y'all let me know.
No, he got 3. Yeah, he got 3. He went to 5 and got 3.
Sarah say he got 3. It's 3, you get 4 more, you get close to Tom Brady, right? If Tom Brady got 6 or 7. Say 7. Jordan got the 7, or is it Jordan got 7, Tom Brady got 6? Y'all know I'm all over the place.
Patrick Mahomes went to the Super Bowl 6. I'm at what is it? 5 out of the 6 times he started.
5 out of the 6 times he's been a starter.
Yep.
Wow.
He went to the Super Bowl.
That's an impressive number.
It was the only one time he lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship. So this worst season.
Mahomes been to the Super Bowl 5 years out of 6 years. He's been a starting quarterback.
The one he lost was to the Bengals in the AFC Championship. So his worst season was the AFC Championship.
And then he been to the AFC Championship.
That's the worst season. Lost to the Bengals. Lost to the Bengals in the AFC Championship was his worst season.
I didn't think about it like that, and I didn't look at it like that, or maybe I just wasn't aware. That's GOAT status right there. 5 out of 6 seasons, man. That is, that's like a cheat code. Patrick Mahomes with all that talent, he lands a head coach like Andy Reid, or Andy Reid drafts Patrick Mahomes. Being that, if you don't know, man, Andy Reid is the wizard at offensive coordinator, man. He is the magician. He can flat out draw up plays, figure it out, and he is going to exploit your defense. And he has Patrick Mahomes. It's like a cheat code. But how long would it take? Can Patrick Mahomes play 10 more seasons and dethrone Tom Brady for the GOAT? What do y'all think, man?
I think for yards, because there's more games. They pass more. I think he'll pass them for yards. You
cannot look at Tom Brady and think about yards. That's one thing.
Yeah, I think, but I don't think more Super Bowls. I don't think more Super Bowls,
touchdowns, and things like that. You cannot look at Tom Brady for so many different situations. Being that he was playing for the Patriots, yards didn't matter. Stats didn't matter, and things like that. With him, Tom Brady is a straight winner. He knows how to win. And that's why he has all those Super Bowls. Patrick Mahomes, don't get me twisted. Don't get it twisted. He's a better athlete. He has better attributes and better skills. But as far as being a winner, we have to see. If he can win those 4 more Super Bowls, I think he may dethrone Tom Brady as the GOAT, man.
I don't know. I don't think he get more Super Bowls. I don't think he get more Super Bowls.
Last season,
and I don't think he could. I don't think he could switch a team and then win the Super Bowl either.
That's a good point too. Hey, that may be the number 1 point right there that make Tom Brady the GOAT. And I always like to tell people that was during the COVID season, so he didn't even have time to build with his teammates, to build these relationships, get to know all of them. He just went out there practicing on fields the same way everybody else, myself, was practicing, getting kicked off of fields left and right, but trying to get that work in. And that's the difference. Like you said, Tom Brady understands the mentality. He's a leader. So him being in the NFL, he knew that he had to somehow get his teammates with him during the vid and get out there on the field and get some work in, because Tom Brady understands what it takes. But the other thing with Patrick Mahomes, understand, that may stop Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid, I hope he can go long as he want to go, but I don't know how much longer Andy Reid can go and continue to be the head coach. 10 more years is possible. He possibly can do 10 more seasons, but if Andy Reid leaves Patrick Mahomes, can Patrick Mahomes still be the same quarterback? That's a totally different question, right? Like we said with Tom Brady, he had Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is not an offensive coordinator. He he's not responsible for the offensive plays. That was Josh McDaniel, Bill O'Brien. They even throw Patricia in there. Patricia, whatever his name is, I can't think of his name. But no matter the situation, no matter the adversity, Tom Brady overcame it because he knows what it takes, man. Man, y'all understand. Playing with him, y'all just have to understand how I feel, man. It's like playing with any other quarterback was just mind-blowing.
You know what made me a Tom Brady fan? You know what made me a Tom Brady fan?
What made you a Tom Brady fan?
the year he tore his ACL, I tore my ACL too. And like the doctors described it as a time, like he's like, do you know Tom Brady? And I was like, yeah. He's like, he tore his ACL. He's like, that's how they described the injury to me. So like I paid attention to like him and how he came back from it. And I was like,
Yeah.
I understand the struggle, gotta go through rehab, gotta learn how to walk again, gotta learn how to run again. So that really made me a time. So like I got a relationship with people that everybody tore the ACL. I like them more than like
so let me guess. In your mind, you and Tom Brady was in rehab together.
No, it was just that like it was something I relate to. Like I was like, oh snaps, like that's how the doctor described it to me. He was like, you know Tom Brady. I was like, yeah. He's like he tore his ACL too, because like I didn't know what that was. Like I never met nobody that tore the ACL. You know that's not a like I didn't know somebody that tore the ACL before, so I wasn't sure.
All right, so chat, man, y'all talk to me. How many more Super Bowls will Patrick Mahomes win before he decides to hang it up as an NFL quarterback? Will he win another Super Bowl? Last year, they took a step back. I don't know if the talent is – they had to deal with a lot of injuries. But I say Patrick Mahomes definitely could get like 2 more Super Bowls. Josh Allen is one of the people that can dethrone him. You got, of course, the Eagles. You got Lamar Jackson and the Ravens. They need – and then you got the Cincinnati Bengals. These are the teams that I think can challenge Patrick Mahomes. But Patrick Mahomes is just a special type of player, man. Who will win? They say 0. Edward Godwin say 0. Man, I don't know, man. You might be getting a little biased.
You got Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid. You got a chance.
I don't know, man. I don't know what you got against the Kansas City Chiefs, but man, you better give it a little bit more respect to that, man. This Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, man, best quarterback head coach duo out right now.
Yes, sir.
Is that the truth?
That is the truth.
I just think about that. The best head coach quarterback duo out right now is Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes, and it's probably who was the better quarterback head coach duo than Andy Reid? Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Was there ever? Has there ever been a better? Do we compare Tom Brady and Bill Belichick? Being Bill Belichick was a defensive coordinator. I don't think that's the same, but I mean, you know, it's a title. They're both head coaches, so got to give them that credit. You know me. If y'all don't know me and Belichick, we have a love-hate relationship. I ain't giving Belichick no credit. I was there. I don't think he was responsible for pretty much none of that stuff. All the players he was bringing in was nobody's. Tom Brady had to make that stuff work. On defense, yes, we did our thing on defense. Yes, he helped us be good on defense. But on offense, Belichick ain't have nothing to do with that. We're going to move on. We're going to leave that alone. Tom Brady the GOAT, and he will always be the GOAT. Believe that.
Yes, sir.
Patrick Mahomes.
Believe that, Patrick Mahomes.
So now we're going to take our talents to Indianapolis, man. We're dealing with the Colts. What do the Colts has going on up there, man? They creating a whole chaotic situation, and I think they're just trying to make it to next year where they can draft whoever they want to draft freely, because right now Anthony Richardson is in the same predicament as Russell Wilson, right? And these may be the last days for Anthony Richardson as a starting quarterback, as a professional athlete, or him being in the NFL, you know. And right now he's dealing with a shoulder injury, but some more info has started to come out. Info is coming out that Anthony Richardson is losing this battle to Daniel Jones. Anthony Richardson is losing this quarterback competition for the starting job, for the starting role to Daniel Jones. Now, when I'm hearing Anthony Jones is losing to Daniel Jones, that makes me think that Anthony Richardson will never regain his status as a starting quarterback in the NFL, despite the shoulder injury. I know he's dealing with an injury, but I don't think he's ever going to gain that again. Yeah, man. And I don't know what the Colts was doing. Drafted Anthony Richardson.
Man, another thing we talked about earlier was like showing up for your teammates. And we seen last year when starting quarterback pulled himself out of a game, which is Anthony Richardson, because he was tired. Like, when do you ever see a starting quarterback pull himself out the game because he was tired? Like, How can you ever trust that person to lead your team when when time's getting tough, he's pulling stuff out the game. Like
that's a quarterback. Like we look at you
quarterback.
differently. We look at you differently. But the thing with Anthony Richardson too is I think scouts jumped the gun in the evaluation process of Richardson because being that he didn't have much experience coming out of college, he still needed to be groomed and developed. So he can be that mature quarterback like we talked about, sitting back in a backup role. He's definitely not mature. He's coming out with rap videos and things like nothing wrong with that, but you still have to do your number one job, right? And if he would have had more time to mature, he could understand, like you said, how to lead a team better, right? If Daniel Jones can win the quarterback battle against Anthony Richardson, might as well say these days are over with. Daniel Jones struggled quite a bit playing for the Giants, and Daniel Jones doesn't have what it takes. I don't understand what the coach expects out of Jones. I don't see him providing any value to the coach whatsoever. Like they said, they were just bringing in someone to compete against Anthony Richardson. And Daniel Jones is making a significant jump in the starting role, and that's not good for Richardson. That's not good for Richardson. But the funny thing about Richardson is the NFL is a copycat league. If y'all don't know that, y'all gonna hear me use that term a lot. I learned that from Bill Belichick. The NFL is a copycat league, right? And I believe the scouts thought Anthony Richardson could mimic Cam Newton, right? They had the same type of story coming out of college. Anthony Richardson only started 1 year in college, and he became not Anthony Richardson. Cam Newton started 1 year in college, then he became very successful on the next level, right? Anthony Richardson started 1 year in college. He wasn't as successful, but I think the scouts saw the same potential in Anthony Richardson that they saw in Cam Newton. But Cam Newton has that dog mentality, right? And you can't coach that. Richardson is one of those players. Richardson is one of those players that needed one more year in a backup role or of college, and he needed to learn and mature so he can reach his best potential. And I didn't think he was afforded that opportunity. And now he's dealing with the consequences of not being able to mature or being developed properly,
Right. Yeah, they just saw athletic quarterback, big, strong, with a big arm, and then think about the other intangibles that come with it, man. Just like we talked about earlier, being able to lead the men, man, have that dog mentality like Cam Newton. Cam Newton not gonna pull himself out of the game no matter what, man. He got hit so many times late or like unnecessarily, and he get right back up. He not pulling himself out the game. And I went to a game and I saw Cam Newton play in person, and I see him get trashed way after the play. He can barely get up, but he got back up and put that work back in. He wasn't gonna play a person they count himself out. He gonna go hard until the end.
Right. But just think about it. If you watch Cam Newton, you evaluated him during the draft when Cam Newton got drafted, and you had him high on your board, and you was so in love with him, but you missed out on him. And then you watched him flourish when he got into the NFL. Then you see Anthony Richardson come from the same school that Cam Newton went to. Of course, Cam Newton went to Auburn after that. And I can see the scouts looking at Richardson as the same prospect as Cam Ward, with the size, the arm, and the bodybuilding, things like that. And it's like, yes, this is Cam Ward. We will not miss out on this opportunity like we did with Cam Newton, with this Anthony Richardson kid. And it's like, yes, we can identify that and make comparisons, but understand you still have to evaluate and see if this player has the ability to do what it takes on the next level. And I saw that in college, that Anthony Richardson was clearly not ready to be in the NFL. If you have an ego as a coach and you think you're the almighty best coach, yeah, you probably feel like draft him. You draft him, bring him to me. I'll make him the best. I will fix everything about him. And sometimes You just need time. Time handles a lot of situations and fixes a lot of things in life. And he is one of those players where time wasn't on his side and he needed more time so he can reach his full potential. And I don't know, man. Anthony Richardson, I think he's going to be one of those players that gets the bad end of the stick. And you may not hear nothing about Anthony Richardson after this season, being that he has to fall into a backup role, and the Indianapolis Colts will be drafting a quarterback next
Archie
season.
Manning.
Yeah.
Arch Manning.
Pittsburgh, Indianapolis Colts. Somebody's going to be out there to get Archie Manning, man. So, yeah, man. I'm up here, man. We dropping the daughter off. Gainesville, if y'all follow me on your social media, y'all see she signed with University of Florida. You know, she's a track star, and she's up here pursuing her goals, getting that education, saving that daddy money on that scholarship. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So that's what's up, man. What you got planned for this weekend, Drees?
Oh man, I'll be in Philly area at Devontae Smith celebrity softball game. Actually, BG gonna playing in it. He got a bunch of people from around the league, NBA, NFL, former players, active players. They got T.O. playing it, former player. So I'll be there this weekend. Of course, y'all got to tune in to 2-3 Drees, man. Make sure y'all follow me on Instagram. You gotta see what's going on, and that's what I got going on this weekend, man.
So when is the game? That's the Devontae Smith game. I seen to where T.O. went there last year.
Yeah, he be back there. Yeah, yep. Softball.
Shout out to Devontae Smith, man. One of the undersized dogs in the NFL, man. We're gonna get him on the show. We're gonna get T.O. on the show. We're gonna get a few people on the show. So yeah, man. Y'all stay tuned. Hey, man. Y'all like my background? Y'all ain't comments. Let me show y'all one more time before we get off. It's how I'm looking, baby. I'm rocking, man. Hey. We doing our thing, man. We doing our thing, man. Look good, feel good, smell good, play good. Say what needs to be said. We gonna see y'all next time. We